Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta. Yo, what's good, man? Welcome back to another episode of the College Couch Podcast. I know usually, your boy Javaris starts it out, but it's been a rough week for him, with Georgia and Alabama battling it out, you know. So I figured, hey, I started off this week. Welcome in, y'all. I am one of your hosts, Stackz Bridge in the building, and of course we have our other host, Javaris Harris, forever in the business. How are you feeling? We're gonna jump right into it. Ain't gonna play no games. And then the people want to know, how are you feeling? How are you feeling right now?
How much time do we have? First off,
Hey man, hey. I've been waiting to hear. I've been waiting to hear. I mean, I caught your reaction in the moment, but I've been waiting to hear your thoughts on,
I
on
mean,
what you
where
felt was
where
going on.
where do I begin, brother? I mean, first off, you got to tip your hat. I mean, the comeback was great. I mean, cool, but of course we couldn't finish it off like we wanted to. Like it was definitely a lot of just mental errors. Like it frustrated me so much watching that game because it feels like I had to. I'm literally having this conversation where I just came on here 2 weeks ago and told people, the viewers at home, I said, "Hey, it's too many people gung ho about this Georgia Kentucky game winning by 1 point. We have to play a very tough Alabama team at home, very tough, and it showed last Saturday." I just came on here and said, "You guys are too optimistic going into Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a place where a lot of teams aren't successful." Like I just said that. I just said it. And look at the outcome that happened. It's crazy to me, bro. And I mean, it was just a lot of offensive just man. Oh my god, Mike Bobo literally just gives me nightmares at this point, bro. It's ridiculous. Like it was a point in the game where me and you were able to predict each play in a series. Like it's too predictable. I've said that it's too predictable, man. Like the bubble screen fiend is what I call Mike Bobo now. Like it's ridiculous, bro. Like we have to find a playbook. We have to find a offensive coordinator that is going to get us like out of this low like I no defense should know what's about to come next. Honestly, like we're in a day of an age where defenses can sniff things out a mile away, and so it really again all of this stuff that we hit on 2 weeks ago and last week is now being hit in the like we're getting hit in the face with it because I just said everything that literally just came to fruition. So it was frustrating. I mean, you got people out there talking, well, we're gonna see them again in the SEC championship. We're gonna see them in the national championship. Newsflash, we still have to play a pretty damn good Texas team in the next few weeks, and then we have to play Ole Miss, who genuinely plays like a Pac-12 team because they play air raid. And if we can't stop the deep ball against Alabama, Jackson Dart, Trey Harris, and friends are going to run the table with Georgia. So it's a lot of soul searching that needs to be done in that locker room, man. And it was humiliating, honestly. But again, they played the catch up game, cool. But at the same time, why are we testing a freshman DB who in the last 2 minutes of the game gets a pick? I mean, freshman Kobe Young didn't even try to make a play on the ball. We had freshman DBs out there that pretty much got torched by a guy who is technically supposed to be an 11th grader right now, Ryan Williams, who was a generational talent. By God, he's going to be playing on Sundays. But yeah, man, it was a rough game. it was rough. I mean, a classic, bar none. Great game, but bro, way too many mental errors. Way too many mental errors, mate. Man, I was frustrated. I didn't celebrate a single score. I was just like, we're playing catch up. Like that's how I felt the entire 60 minutes, bro. Like we're just playing catch up. Like it was a lot for me, bro. I was going through a mix of emotions. Like it was a lot. It was a lot. But hey, again, kudos to Alabama. Y'all did what y'all had to do. But one thing I will say, now that Alabama is number one, they don't want to be number one. They hate being the hunted. They want to be the hunter. Like Alabama and Alabama fans, they enjoy watching teams duke it out because they can come in the last few weeks of the season and they know they can take that number one spot. They don't like being number one early. So now they're like, okay, it's any given week for us. Like we could lose this number one spot. You know what I'm saying? So um yeah, they don't like being number one. So hey, y'all better play and keep it, you know? So I mean that's really my takes from this weekend, man. But it's just so frustrating to see fans week after week. Oh well, a win is a win. Oh well, let's keep the optimism. We'll get them next time. Uh, Nick Saban. I mean, not Nick Saban, but Kirby Smart isn't getting any younger, y'all. Like, I don't know how many more years he has left with Georgia, or how many more years he wants to coach at Georgia, but he's looking at 1-6 now against Alabama, and then for it to be a first year coach he loses to as well, not a good look. But hey, it is
I
what it
mean,
is, though.
to be fair, I don't think anybody else has a great record against Bama the last 15 years either. So I'm just being real.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think anybody is that has a winning record
Mm,
against them who plays them as consistent as Georgia or whatever. And usually when they meet, it's a battle for some hardware. So I mean, just don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, yeah, they saying he's 1-6 against, but every team or every coach has a kryptonite. Like everyone, whether it lasts long or it doesn't.
mm,
Every team has one. Every coach has one. Like, early in his career, Nick Saban's kryptonite was Johnny Manziel. And
mm.
Kirby kryptonite was Hugh Freeze when he was at Ole Miss when he beat them. So I mean, and those went away. And Urban Meyer, what I'm saying, Urban Meyer was his kryptonite for a while. But every coach has that at certain points. I mean, and yeah, for him to lose to Caleb DeBoer or whatever, yeah, now that was heartbreaking. But I don't think it's a bad look because let's not be real. Let's not act like DeBoer didn't lead Washington to the
Mm.
championship. Yeah, they couldn't get it done. Yeah, I mean I get that, but he's a great coach, and every player that I've seen talk about him that's been recruited by him speaks highly of him. Even if
Yeah,
they didn't decide to go to his school, they all speak highly of him. Like if I was to go, it would literally be just because of him. You know.
yeah,
So I mean, great recruiter, great offensive mind. Because he's the offensive minded coach when I say
yeah.
that. But yeah, I mean, and as far as the mental error, I think I don't even think it was necessarily mental errors. I think it was poor planning by Georgia, great planning by Bama.
Mm,
Bama attacked the edges early and forced the issue early. And if you know it, like I know, it's hard to adjust in football on the fly because you got a game plan that you've been using the entire week. Like we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna stick beside that. But when what they're doing isn't working, it's hard to adjust that on the fly. Hence why Kirby Smart is so good at making halftime adjustments. Hence why Saban was so good at making halftime adjustments. Um, but um, yeah, I mean, I think the mental errors that you're speaking about, I think they came to play when Bama's game plan was working. Because it's like, all right, I got to make a play. I got to do this. I got to do that, whatever. And, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like play football. It's not,
Yeah.
we got to do something. We kind of getting desperate at this point. But I said early, I said Georgia's a second half team. Yeah. You know, the only way they could come back is if they do not let it get too far out of hand too early.
Yeah.
And what did they do? They let it get a little far out of hand, a little too far out of hand. And so had they matched that, had Bama just went up 21, um, and not got the last few touchdowns in first half or whatever, I think outcome could be different. Because it's manageable then. 3 touchdowns is not a lot to come back from, especially now. Back in the day, yeah, because back in the day it was more running. You had to kind of ground and pound your way to the end zone. At least that was the thought. Now, different. It's faster. Everybody got a deep ball. Everybody got a deep threat. Everybody got multiple deep threats.
Hmm.
Everybody can run the ball. The running backs can catch the ball. So a 3-score deficit is not tough if you have the right players and the right coaches.
Hmm.
Hence why Georgia came back. Um, but I always say the, the momentum always gonna shift. It's just a matter of how much.
Hmm.
First half, the momentum completely was shifted to Bama side. But going into halftime, it started to shift back to Georgia just a little bit. And just that little bit gives you the confidence going into the half because a lot of people giving Carson Beck flack and all of that type of stuff, which I mean it comes with the territory. Like I mean, um, he put up 400 some yards. I mean, yes, he threw 3 interceptions, one of which, in my opinion, uh, was just a great play by the DB because and miscommunication with his receivers. So I can't completely put that on him. And as far as the last one, when he threw it to the freshman, I put that on coaches because I get what they were trying to do, but in this game, you kind of got to be, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going against a good coach, like, and
Yeah.
some good athletes. Uh, don't do the same exact thing twice. Like, okay, he got burnt the first time. All right. Uh, okay, now you got another chance to go ahead and do it, but don't do that same thing again, because uh, more times out of 9, you're gonna get burnt. You know, and kudos to the freshman. I can't remember his name, the DB for Bama. Um, He sat on it. He said, if they try me again, and I've been in that position before where I miss one and I come back and I'm like, well, if they try that again, I'm ready for it.
Right.
And what he did, he sat back, because he was giving up size. He was giving up a lot of size. So in order for him to break on it, he knew he had to give himself that cushion so that he can have a chance to, one, knock it down, or two, pick it. And Carson Beck and a lot of people say they should have threw it higher, but I'm like, he would have got that move. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, what? You'd have threw it
Regardless.
high. If you'd have threw it in higher, it probably would have went through the stands, in my opinion.
Exactly.
But like
Exactly.
the ball wasn't bad. I just think the play call was at the wrong
Well,
time.
if you go back and watch from every angle, freshman Kobe White did not make a play on the ball. He just let the DB catch
Right,
it. He said,
right,
"Hey, that's yours, brother. You earned
right.
that.
As
Go
a,
get
as
it."
a as a receiver, you got to realize that the situation for
Mhm.
one. And two, you got to understand, okay, I'm probably not going to catch this ball,
Mhm.
but I got to do everything in my power to make sure that he don't catch it either.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
had you knocked it down, you may have another chance to, you know what I'm saying, go for another pass or go for another play. Not saying they would have had that chance, but I'm just saying, moving forward, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the game is over with, but if you knock it down, you can get any kind of call. Like, you know what I'm saying? That could cause a pass interference to come up, and then you get another try at it. Or you get closer, or it stops the clock just short of the time that you need it. So, okay, if it's 5 seconds, they throw the ball, throw it up real quick. You knock it down, you jump in, knock it down. Now you got 1 second left, 2 seconds left. So now you got a chance to make another play. I'm not saying that play would have won you the game or whatever, but you give yourself an opportunity. So but that is a moment that I'm glad that he had because it's a learning moment. Yes, it's a big game, but it doesn't hurt you as much as it would have hurt you had you made that mistake if it was to come up in, let's say, the SEC championship or the national championship or in the playoff. Because right now, with that loss, yeah, it stings, and yeah, you hate to lose to Bama. Trust me, I understand. I understand. But
Yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
but this loss, you can come back from it. Had this been playoffs, had this been SEC championship, it might have been a different story. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, um, uh, yeah, early in the season, it's good to get these matchups because now you see what your team made of. Y'all had adversity. Y'all have come back from it. Y'all have grown as a team. You have a loss, yes, but it's nothing to feel bad about. Yeah, they had your number first half, but the score does not reflect, you know what I'm saying, how the game went. Why? Because y'all kept pounding the pavement.
Yeah.
So,
And
um,
to Georgia's credit, I will give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we are definitely a second half team, and I've said this before on the podcast, man. It may have been like one of our first few episodes. If I could get a podcast series of Kirby Smart's halftime speeches, bro, I will be set for life. Like, again, no idea what is being said in that locker room during halftime, but every single time those guys come out revitalized and almost like a whole nother team. But it just fell short on Saturday. It just fell short. And I mean, I definitely, I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely a fan. I was pointing fingers at Glenn Showman, the defense coordinator, and Mike Bobo, the offense coordinator, because again, like you said earlier, those edges have to be set. I mean, man, Jalen Milrow, Jalen Milrow was looking like vintage Michael Vick out there, honestly.
you get away with that with a normal team. I mean,
Hmm.
Jalen Miro is a rare commodity.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, he has the build of DK Metcalf with the shiftiness of Lamar Jackson
Mhm.
and the arm of Michael Vick. Like he could throw it a mile. But he's got good accuracy as well. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, like, if I'm not gonna lie, if I had to build a player in CFB 25, I'm making me a Jalen Miro
Yeah.
because I can get it done in so many ways. And
Exactly.
yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, I can't even honestly, I can't get mad at the defensive coordinator. Granted, they didn't set the edge, they didn't, but I can't really completely fault him either because if you can't get to the if you can't get to the edge and they can, that just means that the offensive line is doing their job. You know, so I have to put it on the players too. Like, y'all are not getting around these edges as well. So I think this was a team. This is more of a team loss. So I can't put it on one side or the other because both sides struggle. Like, you know what I'm saying. But kudos to Bama because they capitalized on everything. And also, I saw a Georgia player before the game say that when they asked him about the record against Bama, he said we won when it mattered most. So we're gonna see just how that goes today. Well, sir, you saw how we went today when you don't try to come for the like you don't knock the team that's won the most championships in the last 15 years. You don't you know what I'm saying? Say, okay, we won it one time and we're gonna do it again. Sir, they've won it seven. I mean, let's get real. They've got five Heisman Trophy winners, in the past 15 years. Like, let's come on, man. Like you can't knock
Yeah.
that. Like, so I think it woke up a lot of players who thought that just because they were on Georgia that it's gonna be easy because uh they have such great talent. Because I've noticed a lot of players on Georgia and even sometimes on Bama. I think um I mean any team that's had success like that, they get complacent. It's like, especially the younger guys, it's like, yo, we playing for Georgia. Like, I look to the left and right of me, I see other 5 stars, I see other 4 stars, I see other athletes that's probably gonna be in the league. We got this. But what you don't realize is these other players is trying to make the league too, and these other
Yeah.
players, 5 stars or 4 stars, and even the 3 stars are still are no longer looked at as 3 stars because they've elevated their game. So um So you got to come in with that mindset. I think that moving forward, they're gonna approach every game like that. Now, I mean, I can't say that they went out. I don't know. They have a tough road, but I think the mindset going forward is gonna be just like Ryan Williams face paint ship, kill everybody, which it should have been from the jump. But that's the only way you win a championship is you have the mindset is I don't care if we cool after this or before this, but when the game come on, I'm knocking heads off. The ref get in the way, by God, I'm hitting him too. You know what I'm saying? That's how you supposed to. That's the mentality you gotta have in order to dominate at the
Yeah.
level that Georgia and Bama is dominated at. So
And
you
I
know,
will say because this game was such a hot commodity. I mean, you had former President Trump there. You had all type of recruits there. This game was the game. If you were not in the building in Tuscaloosa, then you know what I'm saying. Like you were missing out. This game had so many recruits from Bama there that if most of them did not recruit after last week, after last Saturday showing, then listen, I don't know if you're gonna get it much better than going to Alabama, honest, quite frankly. But if and I mean if there was at least one kid that was in that recruitment stand in that box in Tuscaloosa and say, you know what, I think I want to go play in Athens, then hey, you got it. You got a home in Athens, my guy. But at the same time, I think that game truly showed just how special Tuscaloosa is. Like that team that plays at Bryant Denny Stadium is it. You know, so yeah, man. Again, I can't be mad at the outcome. I mean, hey, gotta play better. You
yeah,
just
I
have to
mean,
play better.
you get hit in the mouth. Like I
Yeah,
mean, like it's part of it. Like I mean, and what a show it was for Ryan Williams coming out. Like, oh my gosh, the
yeah,
move, the body control, the high pointing of the ball, the speed.
yeah.
Like I mean, the route running, the play recognition. Like he had it all. Like I,
Not even old enough to buy alcohol, not even old enough to buy a lottery ticket.
but and that's the
But can he
beautiful
play
thing. That
football?
to me, and I saw an interview with Jalen Milrow speaking
uh
on his work ethic and
yeah,
how he gets it. Like he asked to be put on the same plan that Devontae Smith was put on. He asked to be, to throw with Jalen Milrow whenever he was ready. Asked to watch film with Jalen Milrow, and those little things like that was even willing to travel to Tuscaloosa from Mobile. And that's a few hour trip. So the
hmm
fact that you get that little things that work ethic, it shows in the game. So to all the people that are athletes watching, that's what you're supposed to do.
oh yeah,
Because the I seen a play where him because this only comes from spending time in the film room with a quarterback, with your quarterback as a receiver, spending time playing, him throwing and you catching, playing, running routes with him and all that type of stuff, and then just putting in work on your game because saw Milrow like kind of look at him and like nudge a little bit, like, hey, and he recognized it and went and got it, and Jalen Milrow knew exactly where to throw the ball, like the pad on the deep ball where everybody was talking about, not the tip one, that was phenomenal too. But the deep ball that basically still
the one
game
that got KJ Bolden and Julian Humphrey looking crazy on national television.
right.
Yeah,
That is your quarterback knowing where you like the ball, a veteran quarterback knowing where to put the ball, because he easily could have tried to lead them deep,
hmm
which what most quarterbacks would do. But a veteran quarterback that understands positioning and understands his receiver knows, okay, I got to throw this thing behind him and then let him make a play. And if he doesn't score a touchdown, we live with it, but we got a fresh set of downs on a
yeah,
deep play with momentum. So the pros far outweigh the con because the con is you throw it behind, it's incomplete because there's nobody there, you know. But um, yeah, kudos to him. And he made a phenomenal play. I mean, he high pointed the ball on his back shoulder with the body control, twisted in the air, landed, and then put two moves. I say two because if you look at the footwork, there's two moves in one. My boy put them on a spin cycle in slow motion and then turned on the jets. I love it. I love to see it. And yeah, when you got a kid like that that actually gets not just athletic, like I mean that's beautiful, but that actually gets the work ethic and spending time with your quarterback running routes and watching film with them so that I know what you know what I know, you know how I'm reading it, and I know how you reading it. So it's unspoken. I can just go out there and do it, and you gonna know where I'm at because we spend so much time together that it's like second nature. Like prime example, one of the ones he caught over the middle, he literally ran to the free spot in the zone and caught it and made a play. You know what I'm saying? That's him understanding defense and play design. So
Yeah.
um and the body control on the tip pass. Like I mean, so I mean those little things, like I mean, you got I knew it was gonna be a big play that changed the outcome of this game. Because Bama hit a wall, and I don't necessarily think they hit a wall. I think Georgia figured out their game plan. Like I said, it's hard to change your game plan on the fly. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to do that with basketball and stuff like that. You can kind of switch around or whatever. But in football, it's kind of hard to do that on the fly because you kind of got like a set game plan. So when Georgia switched it, Bama in the midst of that was trying to switch it. They were just looking for a big play and they found it in Ryan Williams. They said, "Look, let's go start feeding the youngin." Like
Yeah.
we believe in his work ethic. We believe in his talent. Let's go do it. And that's essentially what won them the game. But the first half, you know what I'm saying? Because the first half is null and void had he not stepped up in those moments. Like, I mean, I'm just being honest, because Georgia 34-33.
Yeah.
So Georgia had the game won, you know, and that play changed everything, you
Yeah.
know.
And I listen. I genuinely feel the same way. Like when people were contacting me, they're like, "Hey, like, how you feeling? You good over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I'm not. Listen, I said earlier that I made a little funny post. I'm not gonna let this team piss me off. Like they did, but at the same time, it's like I knew this was coming. We play this team so much. I know the outcome. Like this is the only if we have Alabama on the schedule, I am circling that team because I know what to expect from this game. It's going to be a big matchup nonetheless, but it's going to come down to the wire, and it does every single time. Every single time, one of these two teams has each other's numbers, and you just don't know how it's going to be. I didn't take a single prop on prospects because I knew this game was going to end up coming down to the wire. And literally, all the ones that I didn't end up taking just happened to hit, which is hilarious to me. But also, my last point of saying is this. I mean, hey, man, I hate to break it to you, and it's nothing personal towards Auburn, but man, are y'all in trouble this weekend, man. I hate to break it to you, but
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is this is this is just a repercussion of of what happens, and it
But
just happens.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Now that you brought Auburn up, we have the talent
Hmm.
that can beat Georgia. I'm not saying by a lot. I'm
Yeah.
saying I personally think with the way Georgia runs, and I've been watching Georgia every week, and obviously I've been watching Auburn every week. We have the talent that can go toe to toe with Georgia and
Hmm.
potentially beat them. Now here's the kicker. I mean, people might be like you delusional, but if you really watch Auburn play, we got three receivers that at any point can burn anybody on any given Saturday. We've got a running back who right now is the top. Is top. I know this for a fact. I know this. That Jacquez Hunter is one of the top running backs in the SEC right now as far as stat goes.
Hmm.
Uh, we have another running back that can run that thing just as effectively. And then on the other side, our line can match up with Georgia's line because Georgia's line is hurt at the moment. Um,
And
uh,
struggled.
and then our linebackers are very effective. Our safeties are very good. Now, we might have a little inconsistencies on the outside with our corners, but I think talent wise we can hang with Georgia. But here's the kicker for those who saying that I'm delusional. The mental part is what will get us beat by Georgia by a lot. And when I say mental, because if you look at all our games, we've been statistically good in yardage and all of that. What we haven't been statistically good in is the mental mistakes, the turnover. Prime example, Cat. Done pass by Peyton Thorne, starts to pick the interception. All three interceptions, I say, were his fault. Arkansas. Stupid passes at stupid times with a quarterback trying to do too much and force plays that aren't there. Right? Then you have uh 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 uh,
Oklahoma.
you have Austin
Oh, Austin.
fumble, almost scoring a touchdown. So everything is there, and these all these plays potentially had somebody there to score, but the wrong decision was made. So mental mistakes, that is our biggest downfall. If we didn't have those big mistakes, we're easily undefeated right now. We would have beat Arkansas, we would have beat Oklahoma, and we would have beat Cat. So, yeah. So I personally think a lot of people think that we're gonna get demolished. I think that if we have mistakes, if the mistakes start piling up, we will get demolished. But if we have a clean game and limit the mistakes are gonna happen. I know that. That's with either side. But if we limit the mistakes, we have a chance. With that being said, I know Georgia's gonna come out on a redemption tour to prove to everybody that they're still the team to beat. They deserve to be number one. All this, that, and the third. But think that we could go toe to toe with them. Now, in reality, I know the mistakes are not gonna be limited. So I know that we're probably gonna lose because of the mistakes. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to Georgia Auburn. I'm still gonna root for my team. You know, it's gonna be a struggle. But like we saw, Kentucky played Georgia tough. You know, Auburn last year played Georgia tough, and even Kirby Smart said out his own mouth, "We have a good team. We played them tough last year, and last year we had less talent than we do this year, but a lot of people returned." So that being said, the only difference is them being at home and coming off a big loss. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Well,
But
yeah. Well,
any given
no.
Saturday, but I say Kentucky to come into this next game
Yeah.
where Kentucky showed out and proved
Against.
that that the Georgia Kentucky game was not a fluke.
Yeah. And it's starting. It's so crazy because playing against Kentucky is starting to look like a trap game for the entire SEC conference, which is insane. Well, it's not insane because we've seen it in previous years, like Kentucky, whether it be at home or whether it be on the road. Like Kentucky is going to show you, like, hey, don't think we're easy win because we're not. Like you're gonna have to earn it, and Ole Miss didn't earn it, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because Ole Miss has been one of the most dominant offensive threats combined within not only the SEC conference but college football this season. I mean, Jackson Dart just goes out there and launches it every offensive possession, and I mean they're just racking up on the yards. When you have
Right.
a talent like Trey Harris and Presscorn and that running back that they got that's really good, Parrish, they're just marching downfield each and every offensive series, and I mean Kentucky literally put a stop to that. Kentucky said you will have to earn that. You're not going to. We're not just gonna let you just air that thing, air that thing downfield.
Yeah, and kudos to that defense. That
Yeah,
defense is really good.
yeah,
I think defense is very well coached. They're disciplined.
mhm,
They're athletic. They're in position. I mean, because that's essentially what kept them in the game with Georgia. Like the offense didn't do too great on either side, but that's two high-powered defenses going at it. And I think that is where Georgia's problem would be in the future if they don't clean it up. Which I know Kirby Smart's already on their tail. Like, look, get this together. I told you, you get hit in the mouth, you take a day off. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, uh, you know, you had Kentucky. That's a good defense. I mean, y'all got y'all got a good defense in Texas coming up. Y'all got, you know, uh, 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 I mean, in the SEC championship, same thing. I mean, whoever y'all end up playing, or if y'all end up playing at all, just depending on how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah.
Um, it just shows you that in this league, you can't get too high.
Yeah.
You got to play, especially in the SEC. You've literally got to play every game as if it's gonna be the last game, or it's like an elimination game. Because if you don't, one, you're gonna drop in the standing. Two, you will get beat. You will get beat.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, Ole Miss's offense was powerful, it's high rocketed, it was all of that. But once you stop what they're comfortable with doing first, everything else is kind of like, all right, we got it. And then once you give a defense confidence, you can count it. You can count it. Because that's the same thing happened in the Georgia game. Bama got confidence, and after that, it was just like, yo, all right,
Yeah.
we here. And that goes to my point I've always said. Yes, you have to have a good defense to win championship, but you don't have to have a great one. Because think about it, Bama's defense is great, right? But very, they look very less than great, much less than great at times in that second half. But what did they do? They made big plays at the right moment and didn't let the game get too far away from it. You know, so I think the same thing happened with Kentucky Ole Miss. Kentucky Ole Miss, everything was close, and it ended up what you want to do, whether you're the winning team, when you're the losing team or the team that is is barely winning. Whoever has the last possession, you want to force them to kick a field goal because a lot more could go wrong with a field goal than a pass or a run or whatever. Because you end it with a field goal, you could miss it by a mile, it could be short, it could be left, right, whatever. And you can block it, and penalties can happen. So, and that's what they ended up doing. Like, I mean, and it was a good game. It was a good game. Kentucky looks good, although I hate that they won't be competing for a SEC championship at this point in time, because I think they're a really good football team. But
But I think to again, I love getting credit where it's due. When you go out and get guys who want to play, like them getting Jamon Dumas Johnson from Georgia, when J.Q. Hardaway, who transferred over from Clemson, who's a Columbus, Georgia native, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you get guys like that who play football, who want to play, and all of them have one common goal at hand is knocking off teams who think they're just going to come in and get these easy W's, that's when you have a successful program on your hand. And yeah, again, like you said, Kentucky may not do it this year, but don't count them out for the next upcoming seasons because they might be able to do it. So I mean, that's one of the things that I'm really excited to see about the SEC breaking away from the two divisions. It just being a full on free for all. Like the top two teams are going to go at it. And also another thing, if the season were to have ended today, guess who would have been in the SEC championship? Texas A&M and Tennessee, because those are the two highest teams right now on the standings. So you think Georgia may have had a chance if the season would have ended today?
well, I mean,
Then
in their defense, they've had more SEC
right,
games.
exactly,
So,
exactly,
but
exactly.
but yeah, I mean, you're right. If it was to end today, that would be and rightfully so, because they will be undefeated in the conference.
Yep,
But luckily, it don't end here. You got to play the rest of the
right.
conference. You got to play the rest of your conference games. But
Exactly.
I
But I'm
mean,
just saying that's just how this
I got what
season.
you're saying. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's just how the season is now. You got to fight every week for a
every
win.
week.
So yeah, yep. No, I'm sorry. It would have been Texas and Texas A&M. Tennessee is a little bit further down, but yeah, it would have been Texas and Texas A&M. So, um, but yeah, man, that again.
What a game that would have been. Texas
Oh
Texas
yeah, that would have
A&M
been
in-state
a rivalry
rivalry
game.
at the Dome
Yeah.
for the SEC championship.
Oh
What
yeah.
game that would be for the SEC championship. But
Absolutely.
again, that goes to show you for those that say that the SEC is not the strongest conference, that tells you right there. Because think about it. Every year in a local conference, you got the same product. You usually got the same team really competing for the conference championship or making the playoffs. For us, you know what I'm saying? You may got one. Then the other team is kind of up in the air, just depending on how it goes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then, everything else just kind of trickles down from there. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see, but you got to play every week. Got to show up every week, show out like it's gonna be your last. Like this
Absolutely.
is the SEC championship, or this is the national championship. You got to play it like that. And then every game after that, you can't approach it like you've already won. No, you got to approach it like we ain't won nothing yet. We ain't done. You know. So
So I also want to say how well that your boy Brock Vandegrift did this past game too. I mean, looked really really good. I want to say he threw for 243 with one touchdown, and I mean I know he started off a little sluggish as well, but I mean for him and we talked a little bit about him this past weekend too. For him to just kind of just say, hey, like I'm not a background guy in a way. When he was sitting behind Carson at Georgia, for him to go to Kentucky and say, you know what, this is where I feel most comfortable. This is a offense that's set around me. I could be a starting guy, and I mean he goes out and he's doing his thing down in Kentucky. So man, big shout out to him. Big shout out to Jamon Dumas Johnson for those guys taking that step and taking that move over to leave a big program like Georgia and go to Kentucky and make things shake. I mean, they're not. It's not bad right now for them. They're 3-2, 1-2 in the conference, but that again, that's not saying that they can't go and turn that program around in the next few years. So I think that they are going to be fine. So let's go ahead and move over to your boys. I talked about my boys earlier. Let's go ahead and hear this recap of this Oklahoma Auburn game this past Saturday.
so Oklahoma down five receivers, down a backup with some injuries. Uh, they I would say their defense that game played lights out. They played out of their mind. Um, we had an opportunity to win the game. We had an opportunity. We was there. It was right there. You know, going into it, late. All we had to do really was run the ball. I mean, and a controversial play call was called and cost us 6 points. They took it back to the other way and scored a touchdown. So I mean, I don't like the play call. I don't like the decision to pull it and throw it. We drive down the field. You got Jacquez Hunter in the backfield. I mean, after him breaking off a 15-yard run, I mean, I say keep feeding him. You know, let's drain some of this clock. Let's
Yeah,
get down here and score. I mean, I think the game plan by the coaches was good. I just think it was poor execution by a few of the players. Uh, you love to see Hugh Freeze get after Peyton Thorne after a bad decision, and then lift him up after a good decision. Um, yeah, Peyton Thorne. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. For the first 2 quarters and a half, 2.5 quarters, I mean, he didn't play bad. He didn't make the big mistake. He made the good reads. He was running the ball. I personally think his pride got in the way in this game. That's my personal thing because everybody's been talking down about him. Everybody's talking bad about him and how he think we shouldn't have never got him, and he couldn't do it or whatever. He was calling his own number, in my opinion, a little too much. And but when he just decided to throw the ball, I mean, like I said, we got some athletes on them corners. Um, and Lambert Smith is a dog.
Mhm.
You know, he's on pace to be our first 1,000-yard receiver in the last 25 years. Like we haven't had that in a long time. You know, so um yeah, I mean Cam Coleman, what grit I saw from him, like I mean he make a bad play and make a mental error and he come back out, they give it to him, he make a big play. I mean, it's a good thing to see. I like the play calling. And then like I was saying, like I like the play calling at the end. I just think that because a lot was controversial. A lot of people say Hugh Freeze shouldn't have called that play. I like the play call. I just don't like the decision from Peyton Thorne in that moment. Give it to the back, let him cook. Okay, he get 2 yards. That's fine. That's cool. I would rather him get a few yards and we chew up some of this clock. You know what I'm saying? Either go down and well, I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't have kicked the field goal because our field goal kick only 0 for 3. Well, technically 0 for 2 because one of them got a penalty on us, so he had to re-kick. But um, I personally think you run the clock out there. You because we had the game, we had the game, we had the game. I mean, that just goes to show you how good Oklahoma's defense can be.
Yes.
And kudos to Oklahoma's quarterback. I mean, it wasn't a great passing attack.
Mhm.
I mean, but he for his first start, he made plays where it needed to be done with his legs. I mean,
Yeah.
um, and we bottled him up for the most part, which is another reason why I said our team is there. It's just almost like you're reaching for something and you just can't quite get it. That's exactly why I feel like we are, and that's why it's frustrating because we got all this talent. Like I mean, we signed our highest recruiting wide receiver class that we've had in I don't know how long, if ever. Um, and we played pretty good. I mean, Jacquez Hunter had, I'm not mistaken, he had close to 100, if not 100 yards rushing. Um, outside of the interception, Peyton Thorne didn't do a bad job. You know, as much as people want to turn on him that I see, he didn't play bad. You know,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, it was tough to watch simply because it's like we had it. It's right there. I mean, that's a ranked opponent we going against. You seize your momentum because what it would have felt like to win that game going into Georgia.
Mhm.
Even though our fates already been written by everybody else, at least we got the confidence coming in, beating Oklahoma, whether it was
Yeah.
they got backups, whatever. Um, we win that game going into Georgia. It changes a lot of mindsets from our side. But you know, maybe this the week we turn it around. I don't know, but
Yeah.
um,
I
yeah,
agree.
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
from what I saw, I mean, like you said, Peyton didn't have a bad game. I mean, he looked like he was really poised in that first half, and things were coming together. But I think when he starts to his stamina starts to go down and stuff, that's when the mistakes start to happen. When he starts getting tired and he starts getting fatigued, he's played a full game. That's when the mental errors get thrown. I mean, y'all had the game sealed. Like the game was over. Literally, y'all didn't even really have to run any more plays, in my opinion. But I mean, man, it just went downhill after that pick. And I mean, um, yeah, you pretty much hit everything on the head with your recap. Michael Haskins comes in for a bench starter, Jackson Arnold. And it's so crazy because I think if I was hearing correctly, Michael Haskins didn't even find out he was starting until maybe that Tuesday. I mean, that still can't be right because he he knew Jackson Arnold was being benched because they had already reported it. But if he's the next guy up, I mean, he pretty much already knew he was about to get
well,
denied. At least
he
as
had,
far as
well, from what I gathered, he hadn't been told.
that's what I'm
You,
saying. He just
you,
didn't know.
yeah,
He just
you
didn't
could
know
bench
if
starter
we
all
like
day long, like for instance, like
yeah
with our situation. Oh, well, our situation last couple years. Give prime example. We had TJ Finley.
Yeah.
TJ Finley got benched. We don't know who's gonna start. Like fans are calling for Hank Brown to start or whoever to start or whatever. Um and Robbie Ashford gets the nod. And it's like, okay, well what can he do? So same thing, just like we was last week. We didn't know who was gonna be the guy, and we ended up seeing on Saturday, like, oh, okay, you know. So I mean, coaches do that, in my opinion, just so that it doesn't make it any shake up or anything like that. And from my understanding, they told him privately. They didn't tell the team anything like that. They just came to him and said, look, you're gonna get the nod. You know what I'm saying? Let's get these reps in. So I mean, for him to have a short week in preparing to be the starter, he didn't play bad in that regard. He used his legs a lot more efficiently. Um, but I mean, you gotta tip your hat off to somebody that comes in to hostile environment. I mean, regardless if Auburn's ranked or not, that Jordan Hare is not an easy place to play in.
Yeah.
And then when we have it clicking on all cylinders, it's dang impossible to win in Jordan Hare, in my opinion, unless you just got a really, really resilient team. You know, um, I mean, people might think different, but until you've been in that atmosphere and seen what that atmosphere is like, you wouldn't understand. Um, yeah, I mean, it was a great game on Arkansas's part. The defense, I think they played out of their minds. Um, Oklahoma's backup receiver that filled those shoes. He made some big plays, made some good strides.
Mm.
Um, he had really, really good plays actually. I like seeing receivers be receivers and ball out, and be
Yeah.
dogs, especially when they like the uh uh underdog because he didn't get to start the nod to start. So yeah, I mean a good game for them. Auburn just got to find ways to clean it up because, like I said, we've been leading on all of these teams that we lost to, from Arkansas to Oklahoma to Cal. We've led all of those games at one point and was balling out, and then it's like a rabbit hole. It just goes down and yeah. Looking forward to another week. I mean,
Yeah. We listen. We all are. I mean, again, hey, I, I listen.
and y'all
I
can
hope it's.
call my
I
phone.
hope it's
If
a.
Auburn look like they struggle, y'all can call my phone. I'm gonna talk junk with you. I ain't one of them. I'm gonna pick up
Listen.
and I'm gonna talk
Listen.
junk
Don't.
because
We
you know
did get a phone call during that game, but don't listen. Don't let them trolls get in here. Listen, y'all played a good game. I'll give it to you.
you
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 know,
you you ride for your team through the good and the bad.
absolutely.
That's how I gotta go. I mean,
Yeah.
cause when you're winning, everybody go hop on the bandwagon and try to
Mm.
say that, oh, I've been a fan of this team. No, you haven't. It's
Bro.
more beautiful when you ride with a team that they struggle
Oh.
all of
Oh
that
my
and they
God,
win.
bro. I'm listen. I'm about to lose. I'm about to get so much heat because that's literally kind of coinciding with the next team that we're going to talk about. Because I definitely want to talk about this Colorado UCF. I mean UCF game.
Yeah,
Colorado did their thing. They got the W. They got the W. They got the win.
they they've done what I've always said that they should do. They are gelling.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter, they're relying more on Travis Hunter,
Mm.
which is you got to start like that. You got to. Shador Sanders is getting more comfortable in the pocket. He's having time to get his guys and all this type of stuff. So now, my next thing is let me see you play against these SEC teams. Let me see you play against. I just me personally because I don't. I want to see you play. Like I said last week, I said I want to see you play against talent that is either at your level or better, not at your level and lower. I don't want to see that. You know, I know you can ball against them. And I know you're good. Like I don't want no missing screw, nothing. I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm not saying Travis Hunter's bad. I'm not saying nobody on that team is bad. I just want to see you do it to a team that is a playoff contender. That is what I want to see. Because UCF, we know this year they're not that. You know, um, and a lot, and few of those plays was based off of the interception that the defense got. So great game for everybody all around at Colorado. I just want to see them do it against talent that is of their stature and better, and win. Not of their stature and better, and go out there and do go crazy and then lose. No, I want to see you win. You beat a Ole Miss or a Texas or right now who's playing out of their mind, Penn State, somebody like that. You go out and get a solid win like those, or Ohio State or whatever. Or even if you compete with them at a high level, I'm cool. I'm cool. I ain't got nothing else to say after you do that. I can't say nothing else. I mean I think I think they play phenomenal. I think they play great. I think Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders have great chemistry.
Mhm.
But of course Jimmy Horn is a dog that don't get talked about as much because of Travis Hunter. But and I forget the other guy, number 10. I forget.
Will is it Will Shepherd? No, not Will Shepherd. It is. It might be Will Shepherd. It is definitely no, not 10. If you're talking about 14, it's Will Shepherd. Oh, LeJounte Wester.
Yeah,
Yeah, Wester.
Webster, that's him. My bad, y'all. I be forgetting. But yeah, I like him. He was a dog too. So the receiving core that they have is full of top dog. And Shador Sanders, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. Ever since the Nebraska loss, it's almost like it hit a second gear. Because, like I said before, that conversation that he had with the media could go one or two ways. Your line resents you for it, or they take heed of what you say and say, you know what? You right. Let's step up. And it looks like they said, you know what? You right. Let's step up. So I like to see that. I like to see that. I still wouldn't have threw him under the bus, in my opinion, but he might know that they have a different dynamic. Like, you know what I'm saying? They might call him out. And that's it. It looks like they have that dynamic, the entire team. Because Shador Sanders does that with Travis Hunter when he misses the ball. Travis Hunter does that to Shador, Jimmy Hunt, all of that. So I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case. So I like how they've been playing. They've been playing, you can tell they've been playing more as a team. The chemistry is building, but again, it's a long season. So I hope that they keep it up. Cause I do want to root for them, and I do want them to go ahead and be on top. So I mean we'll see how it goes though. But I'm by no means a bandwagon fan.
Yeah, bro, and that's the thing that's really like upsetting me is just how many. I mean, I get it. How many people, as far as um, just as far as everybody that came in that scope of wanting to be a Colorado fan all of a sudden
Of
just
course, 'cause
because
I
of
mean,
Coach Prime. I mean, I get the Prime
course,
effect and
course. I
all.
mean, because it's prime.
I
So I
get the
mean,
Prime effect, but gosh, like this
wherever
is,
he goes, it's gonna draw attention. It's gonna
hey,
put people in the stands. So I mean, I personally don't think that most of these fans are Colorado fans. I think they're fans of
yeah,
Prime, Fedora, Travis Hunter. I think that they're that, and everybody else that's around them benefits from that. Because think about it, would Jimmy Horn still have the eyes that he has on him now, would he still have that had he not been playing with Prime? Would Webster have that had he not been playing with Prime? Would Shador have that if he not been playing with Prime? I think the only one out of all of those people on the team that will still have that that look is Travis Hunter, because
yeah,
I mean, he was a 5-star recruit coming out, and that's not to say that Shador is not good. I just think that, think about it, like you got Prime as your dad, and Tom Brady is literally your mentor, and you literally had conversations with Tom Brady. There's no other quarterback that's in college football that's literally having Tom Brady train him. So beside maybe Manning or something, but he got his uncles. So you know what I'm saying. So I mean that plays a role too. It's not to take anything away from it because that's what you're supposed to do. you've got that kind of pool. I mean, if I know Tom Brady personally, heck yeah, I'm finna put my son to train with him. Why wouldn't I? So I mean, I'm not saying that that's a
Right.
bad thing. I'm just saying that Prime helps elevate wherever he's at. He's gonna put eyes on you, and I think that is what we're seeing now. Because think about it, what ain't before Prime got there? If all of these players decided to go there and Prime wasn't there, we would not be talking about them like in the like
Yeah.
that we were, except for maybe Travis Hunter. I'm
I
just
do
saying.
want I do want to ask you this. Mel Kiper put out a board, and I'm gonna tell you this now. I can't stand Mel Kiper. The man swears he can draft. It put out these mock drafts, and they're dang near wrong every time. But he's now put Shador Sanders as his number one quarterback taken off the board. What you feel about that?
Um, well, I I personally don't agree, but that's just my
I don't
personal
either.
opinion. But I understand why he would be number one. Uh, and the only reason I say I personally don't agree because I think Milroe's a better quarterback than him.
Yes,
I don't think Brock Bowers. I mean not Brock Bowers, but
Carson
Carson
Beck.
Beck. I don't think Beck is a better quarterback than Shadur, in my opinion. Carson Beck is good, but I don't think because I don't think that I think he's been blessed to have talent, a lot more talent around him. Like he's got 5 stars surrounding him.
Yeah,
That would have been something somewhere else had they not had the eyes that you know what I'm saying. Like don't get me wrong, Colorado players are great, and everybody knows I say this all the time. I don't care about your stars, but people care about stars. So if you look at it, Beck has had great players around him. Like I mean, I'm just being you got ETN in the backfield now. You've got everybody that they've got now. Last year you had Brock Bowers, one of arguably the best tight end. You had Lad McConkey, who was very good, very fast, or whatever. So yeah, he's had those people, and he's got Kirby Smart as his head coach. I mean, and you sat behind Stetson Bennett, so you've had time to grow. I
yeah,
don't think Shador has necessarily had that experience because he was the starter everywhere. But the trade off for that is, I mean, you got Tom Brady as your mentor. So I mean, you take what you can. So I mean, I don't agree with it because I personally like Jalen Milroe better than all of them just because of everything he brings to the table. Is like
yeah,
every time he takes off, I think he's gonna score. And his deep ball is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I think that Shador Sanders, the only thing he has over him is his short game. His short game is he can pick you apart. You know what I'm saying? But Milroe, his bread and butter is running and the deep ball. He
yeah.
throws one of the best deep balls I've seen in a minute. At the college level, you know. Um, but I mean that could be problems for NFL because the NFL, they want you running all that. They want you to be a pocket passer. So I think that a lot of times people think or look at Jalen Milroe as he's gonna run before he passes. Which I personally think he'll throw that thing. He just gonna take off. Because I mean, why wouldn't you not? I mean, you that big, you that fast, why not? But in NFL, they might not like that because it's
Yeah.
protecting an investment. You know.
I want to hit one last game before we hit our last segment, and that was the Miami and Virginia Tech game. Another Heisman hopeful, Cam Ward, 343, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Crazy enough, we really don't get a chance to talk about Cam Ward on the pod, but man, he looked crazy against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech comes out, scores early. Kyron Jones, I have not really been a super fan of Kyron Jones just because of some mental errors he's made in the game. But from your take, um, I don't know. Have you really gotten a chance to watch Cam Ward a little bit this season?
Yeah, I watched him.
Okay,
I watched him.
is
I
he?
think that. I mean, he's got all the upside. If you
Mm,
ask me, I mean, he's tall, he's big, he's got a cannon for an arm. He can pick you apart. He don't get phased by pressure. Obviously, we saw that. Like I mean, because I can even with that, I can put Cam Ward neck and neck with Shador.
yeah,
I just think that, like I said, the eyes are on Shador, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's the best quarterback. Like you know. But that's my opinion. I think that he's a great quarterback. I think that he's really, really good. I think that he can be. He's going to get drafted first round. But for me, in my opinion, what I look for in a quarterback, um, he wouldn't be my very first pick. I wouldn't pick him. But
Yeah.
again, I mean, you got team needs. You got. I mean, there's a lot that goes into picking the first pick. You know, the very first pick doesn't necessarily mean that you're the best player in that draft. That just means that the team that picked first needed that position filled, and you were the best fit for that team in their minds. But being the first pick to normal people, that ain't always a great situation. But being the first pick, if you're a Shador, your dad can kind of control where you go because he got pulled like that. It can be better for you. So again, like he want to say that his dad had nothing to do with none of this, but he does. Like I mean, let's be real. Like your dad don't have nothing to do with how great you are or could be in football, but he definitely has something to do with getting to you to the point to where you can be have the attributes to be good. Because all the physical stuff and all that, okay, cool. But he put you in the rooms with people that can help you, and then you follow suit. So the rest of that is up to you.
Right.
So I'm not saying that he's using his dad as a crutch or anything, but the real would be once he gets from under his dad how he plays, and that's my opinion.
Okay.
Um, but I don't
Yeah.
think. I mean, me if I'm picking, depending on what my team needs, I like Jalen Milroe. I like Cam Ward. That's my opinion, but I just like Cam Ward. He's got that
Yeah. Cam
he's got
Cam
that
Ward
different dog mentality. Like
Yeah, Cam Ward just has an aura about him. If you ever watch Cam Ward, his drop back is just so. I hate to put it this way, but it's like super nonchalant. Like he just takes 2 steps back and he just flings it, and it's so
he's calm.
it's
He's very
yeah,
calm.
it's just
He's
like
very,
and then just launch it. And I mean,
he's
it's
there for the
funny.
big moment. You
Yeah,
know.
it's funny to watch, but it's almost like man, how does he do that? You know what I'm saying? Like he's it's crazy to see, but yeah, man, I think that he's definitely a Heisman hopeful for a reason, just because of the things that he's accomplished thus far, and I think he's going to have a even crazier showing when they play against Cal this upcoming week as well. So
That's
yeah,
gonna
man, it's a
be
lot of guys to look out for on this
that's
Heisman
gonna be
race.
his big one because Cal's defense is not no slouch either.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
absolutely.
But I mean he's been tested this whole year and he's keeps making plays and he keeps doing stuff. Just much like Shador. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't think that the guy's wrong that made that mock draft of him Shador being the first. I just wouldn't choose him just because I look for different stuff in a quarterback,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
absolutely.
Yes, Shador can move, he can throw it, this, that, and the third. Yeah, that's beautiful. But I like Miro because he's got the size, he's got the speed, he got it between the ears. I've seen I put it like this. From last year to this year, I haven't seen a big jump uh from Shador. It's kind of the same thing. I just think that he has I ain't gonna say more talent. I just think he has more chemistry around him. And he's kind of settled in calmly. But from last year to this year, Jalen Milroe is his arm accuracy and his deep ball night and day, in my opinion. His deep ball was good last year, but I just think this year I I can't explain it. It's just better. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think that's what I look at. Can you be coached? Like, okay, because Shador, the question is gonna be, which they have every right to. I mean, people might get mad, he might get mad, but can you be coached by somebody other than your father? Because he hasn't had that. Because his dad's been his coach his entire career from a young age. So now you have to let dad take the reins off and let somebody else coach you. Can you do that? And how do you apply that? Because you don't have dad on the sideline no more. You don't have dad in practice no more. And if you do, and if he is at practice, he has no say so in how things are run. He can get you in the door, but he can't control what comes out of it. You know, so that'll be the big question with him, in my opinion. But I mean, if
Yeah.
he goes number one, I'm not gonna be bad. I would definitely say earned and
It'll
deserved.
be it'll be it'll be questionable, but I mean, at the end of the day, hey, he's drafted, and I think that's what everybody kind of wanted. So just kind of learn to live with it
I
and
mean,
just see how he does in the
it's
draft.
not a
I mean,
question of
NFL.
for the people that don't think that he should go number one. To me, it's not questionable because he can go number one. And if a team that comes up is in need of a quarterback. Like I'm to be honest with you, I would love to see him in New York with what they got going on right now in New York because they got neighbors balling out like that in New York. Like I would love to see that because that's the team that you can build from because that's a young quarterback, young receiver that's got a little bit of you know what I'm saying, a little bit of mud under his feet. You
Mhm.
know, so because he done been out there a little bit. And you know what I'm saying, you surround him with everybody else. I mean, I like that those chances, but I also like if Milrow was there. I also like if Cam Ward was there. You know what I'm saying? Only one I wouldn't like to see there, I'm just being honest, is Quinn Ewers. I mean, I like his game. I just don't see it in that situation with how that team is built.
Yeah,
You know, but that's just my opinion. I don't think there's no right or wrong answer to who you think should go number one with the quarterbacks they got coming out. I just personal preference. I like a more mobile quarterback and a taller quarterback if I'm building a team. That's just me.
yeah, I
Because the
agree.
hits in the NFL ain't no joke. But that's just my opinion.
All right, well, hey, I like it. Let's talk about Ashton Genty, running back from Boise State. Now, we had a very interesting conversation on our live this past week, right before the 12 o'clock game started. And the conversation came up about Ashton Genty. I mean, first of all, let me read off his stats thus far. The man
Hey,
is already okay. First of all, he's leading the rushing yards in the entire college football right now. These are some of his stats game wise. Versus Georgia Southern, they won 20 carries, 267 yards, and 6 touchdowns. In the loss to Oregon, 37-34, 25 carries, 192 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And the win against Portland State, 56-14, 11 carries, 127 yards, didn't score that game. And then the last game that they played against uh, Washington State, 45-24, 26 carries, 259 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Now, I made the statement as far as if this kid gets snubbed, it's only because he plays for Boise State. I feel like the Heisman, they're only looking at guys um, who are on these bigger stages. Now, granted, the last time we seen, a guy that was in the Heisman race from a lower school was probably what? Maybe Randy Moss with Marshall, maybe? You know what I'm saying? When he was in that class with Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning and Charles Woodson. I just don't I want to see this guy win, but I feel like he gets snubbed because of who he plays for.
but is it one who he plays for? Two, the level of competition. That's because
Right.
I mean you said Georgia Southern, you said Washington State, and you know the big one would be Oregon. So that would be a
Mm,
notable. You know, and his art, I mean, even though although great, his yardage was down from his other games when they played Oregon, right? So I
mm,
mean, don't get me wrong, 800 plus yards at this point in the season is unheard of, you know. Um, and to me, he deserves every bit of at least an invitation, you know.
yeah.
But even if he doesn't win, I mean,
He's transferring. He got to.
I don't necessarily think you have to transfer because as a running back, I mean, yeah, you want to win a championship, but you want somewhere where you're gonna get carries and get looks, like you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying. So
Yeah, that's
NFL
fair.
scouts, we might not be looking at it like that. Fans might not be, but
Yeah.
NFL scouts, they know who the heck he is, and they gonna go look at him, right?
Yeah, fair, fair.
So that's the whole point. Like a quarterback, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like I mean, even though scouts will come to you, but yeah, you want to go where you got a lot of talent that you can throw the ball to. You want your like, Carson Beck has the best situation because he's got all these athletes around him. You know, who else? Texas, great situation with Manning. Although he's a good quarterback, He's got a lot of talent around him. That's what you want as a quarterback. But as a running back, because the running back is, people say it's getting phased out. You're not getting as many carries. You're not seeing people get 30 carries a game, 20 carries, whatever. Um, because it's a passing style now. So when you're a running back, if you're at a school that's feeding you, you stay there. You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing I would say, because if you transfer and you have a worse year than this year, everybody's gonna be like, oh, well, it's because he played against lower competition, and that could hurt not only your draft stock, that could also hurt how people view you, because now, you know, like for instance, he running 200 yards, 100 some yards, 200. Now he goes transfers to Ohio State, and man only gets 900, 1,000 yards, for the season. Now they're gonna be like, okay, so where these numbers at? You got a better line, you got a better team, but you just playing against a little better competition. So now, it's gonna be that conversation. Now he can do it, you know what I'm saying? Now he can very well transfer and put up them same type of numbers. And if he does that, kudos to him. But I'm just saying you run that risk, because now then NFL scouts might be like, oh, well, if the competition is less or equal, he's fine.
Yeah.
But when that competition ramps up, which is every week in the NFL, it's like, okay, he's just a regular back. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you kind of gotta. Don't get me wrong, the numbers are still great. Putting up 200 numbers on 200 yards rushing on anybody
Yeah.
is no small feat. But I'm just saying, looking at it from how the Heisman race is ran, and how people in the draft look at players or whatever, may look at players. I don't know if that's exactly how they would, but I mean, even if he doesn't get the Heisman, well, I wouldn't call it a snub, because who did he lose to? I mean, obviously, if he lost to Travis Hunter,
Mm,
I don't think
fair.
nobody would be mad about that, because the
I
guy
think
literally
I
plays
think
both
more
sides of
so
the ball.
I think more so the snub will be if he doesn't get invited at
Oh,
this
he'll get
point, because
invited. He'll get
yeah,
invited, no
I
problem.
think
I
because
just
there's no way he beats out Trav at this point.
Like, I don't think, look, even as good as Jalen Milroy has been and how much I praise him, even though I can't stand Bama,
Yeah.
I do recognize when players are great, in my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
but he gets the invite, because uh you can't ignore those numbers.
Right.
Um, but he doesn't win it only if Travis Hunter was a one-way player. He Genty wins. But the fact that Travis Hunter is putting up big, he could literally be an All-American on both sides of the ball,
Hmm.
and he's putting big numbers up on both sides of the ball. You can't ignore that. Like, you can't let. And then if he continues to play at this level, you can't. The dude literally only comes out the game for 6 plays, bro. Like, come on. And he has no rest, and I've hardly ever seen him winded.
Right.
Like, let's be real. All right, so only time I seen him win it was the Colorado State game. We had to run like 40 yards to chase somebody down. I mean, or run a touchdown, whatever it was. And he had to run a long time. And he came out of the game. But that's the only time I seen him win it. But it was literally only for like a minute. And then he was like, all right, bro, I'm ready to go back out there. Like, you can't ignore that.
Yep.
I don't care. You can run for 3,000 yards as a running back. You can't ignore the fact that you got this kid over here that is uh killing everybody as a receiver, and then turning around, going on the other side of the ball and killing every offense that, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times that's individual. Like, I mean, if your line is blocking as a running back, anybody can run for those numbers. But yeah, I'm saying from what a critic would say. That's not what I would say. That's what I feel like a critic would say. Is that anybody could do that if you got a great line. But when you don't have a line, that's when you do that. But what Travis Hunter is doing, anybody can't do that. That is generational. That is, you have IQ that can't be taught, and then you have the physical ability to back that up, and the work ethic. So I
Yep.
mean, I I I see nobody else getting it besides Travis Hunter, because he checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, popularity, yes. That, yes. Both sides of the ball, never been done before. Okay, yes. You know what I'm saying? Done it on national TV. on a prime time slot where everybody's watching. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Done it against a big time school. Yes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Yeah.
Genty has a lot of boxes checked, but there's still some that should be checked that aren't checked. If that makes sense.
No, I agree. I agree, and I think that's
And I hate it
definitely.
for him though. I hate it for him because he is balling right
Oh
now.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He's going insane, and I think he's going to be able to do that exactly when they play against they play who this week? Uh, they have a game against Utah State this week. So I mean, it definitely is definitely one of those games where it's like yeah, unfortunate, but hey, that's just the price when you play for Boise State. But let's go ahead and get into these predictions real quick before we head on out. Um, I just had them up. Man, this was a crazy week, bro. I genuinely, I'm not gonna lie. That Saturday, I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want nobody to look at me. I didn't want nobody to look in my direction. But it's over now. So it's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. All right, here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Friday, 9 p.m. Fox, Michigan State, Oregon. Who you got?
Yeah, or
All right, we're going Oregon. Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, FS1, Syracuse, UNLV. Big matchup, by the way. Who you
that is
got?
a big game. That's a
That is a
big
great
game. But I
game.
got I got I got Syracuse. I like how they've been playing.
Yeah, Kyle McCord looks amazing right now. Also, UNLV has the Haj Malik something. That's the quarterback's name. I can't think of his last name at the moment. But yeah, he looked really well this past weekend. But yeah, I'm gonna go Syracuse this week. This weekend or this week. I'm sorry. 3:30. Another big matchup. CBS Iowa versus Ohio State.
All right, I got Ohio State.
Got Ohio State. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I'm gonna go ahead and put the top matchup because I want to save the best for last. 12 p.m. ABC. Mizzou and Texas A&M. Who you got?
Ooh,
Big
Mizzou.
matchup
I
too.
feel like Missouri got something to prove.
Yeah, yeah. I keep saying every time I'm a huge fan of Brady Cook, huge fan of Luther Burden, huge fan of Nate Noel. So yeah, I'm looking to see what Mizzou does. All right, 7 p.m. ESPN on Saturday. Who Clemson on Florida State? Who you got?
Right, that. I'm like polishing a turd. Um, I got Clemson.
Oh wow, Clemson. I got Clemson. 7:30 Saturday. Yeah, ABC. Tennessee, Arkansas. Who you got?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Oh God, this is making me sick. I don't even want to talk about that one. I'm gonna say that one for almost the worst to last. Anyway, yeah, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time, SEC Network, UCF in Florida. Who you got?
Ah, polishing an even bigger turd. Yeah, dog.
Yeah,
I'm gonna I'm gonna say Florida because I don't think Jefferson can get it done.
they almost beat. Anyway, all
That
right.
must be who? That must be who?
They almost beat Colorado, but anyway, I
Right,
got
but they didn't.
you're right. Anyway, I got UCF that game. 10:30. ESPN. That's a late game. I hate that. Miami and Cal. Who you got?
Miami. I think Cam Ward is gonna be a little
Yeah.
too much for Cam.
Oh yeah. 7:30 Eastern Time. NBC on Saturday. Number 10 Michigan and Washington. Who you got?
I got Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know why they put this game on prime time. I hate that, but I got Michigan. And 3:30 ABC Auburn Georgia. Who you got? Who you got? Who you got?
Basically, I would pick Georgia, but randomly, I'm gonna pick Auburn because that's my boys, and I gotta rock with them even if it looks bleak, and it looks real bleak right now. But I'm picking Auburn.
Go dogs. Stick 'em. Woof, woof, woof. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been another great episode of the College Couch Podcast. As always, Javaris here, Stackz, Delbridge, forever in the building. Thank you guys for rocking with us this episode, and thank y'all for continuing to show love and support. We cannot thank y'all enough for it. Y'all have been great. Like, y'all have been phenomenal. I can't listen. Y'all help and make College Couch what it is. It's been great, man. I oh my god, y'all don't know how much I enjoy doing this, and I love being able to do this alongside with Stack. It's man, y'all make the couch what it is, man. So thank y'all so much for continuing to rock with us, and yeah, that's all I got. Stacks, take it away, my brother.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all for tapping in, for tuning in, for rocking with us for so long. Man, if you got athletes that you know that ain't getting no shine, let us know. We love to put some shine on them and let the world know about them so they can, potentially get more looks, whatever. DM me. Yeah, I'm Jay Stackz. Javaris, was Javaris L. Harris, Javaris Harris.
Javaris L. Harris.
That's what I thought. Javaris L. Harris. Or just hit the College Couch Podcast page. Hit us in the DM. We respond. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all. But look, tell a friend, tell their cousin, their sister, them, and their auntie, all that, to tune in to the College Couch Podcast each and every week. We highlight all the games, highlight what we like, what we didn't like, and some of these jokers that just be tripping. So we appreciate y'all, but get what though? We got bills we gotta pay, so we out of here.
Who? Please tell me who.
Wake up, I gotta go get it. Wake up, I gotta.